Dave, thank you so much. First of all, I thank God for giving me this opportunity to speak to you, community members. And I also want to thank Million Cups Northampton Community College for giving me this opportunity. Um, I'd like to speak maybe 15, 20 minutes. And if I go too long, just give me a holler and I'll stop. But I'd like to divide my talk into three sections. One is to give you a little bit about my background and my family's background and talk about some DEI initiatives that we have implemented at EBC. Second is give you an explanation of the three sections of Express Business Center, EBC Printing, and EBC Promo. Those are the three sections in our company. And number three, what I love most about Million Cups is the advice that we get from community members, from business leaders, in how we can continue to strive to do better, continue to improve our businesses and our organizations. So to kick off, I was talking a little bit that myself and my brother, Mustafa, are partners at EBC. We are originally from a country called Tanzania, East Africa. And if any, I know Tony is planning to travel there and Dave is planning to travel to Tanzania. But just a few facts about Tanzania. The highest mountain in Africa is called Kilimanjaro. So that's in Tanzania. So Tony and Dave, I expect you to climb all the way to the top. And the second fact about Tanzania is the gemstone tanzanite is from Tanzania. Whenever I talk about Tanzania, my wife is like, whenever you go back, you're getting me tanzanite from there. So I'm like, honey, it's not like, in the streets or anything, you have to, it's an expensive gemstone. So, but no, so the gemstone is the second fact. And a third cool fact is there's an island by the name of Zanzibar. My grandmother was born in the island of Zanzibar. Beautiful island, one of the most exotic islands in the world. Many celebrities try to visit there and get away from, paparazzi and things like that. So these are just some fun facts about where I'm from. Once my brother and I decided to move to the Lehigh Valley, mainly because of education, number one. My brother got accepted at Lehigh University after finishing high school in Tanzania, East Africa. He came to the Lehigh Valley and fell in love with this place. He sponsored me. We took the help of an organization called the Catholic Charities, part of the Allentown Diocese. Jeff Sheck's wife works at the Allentown Diocese, and I'm much appreciative of what that organization does for many immigrants who want to come into this great nation of ours. I'm also an American Muslim. I'm proud to be an American Muslim, and so thankful that I'm able to freely practice my religion here. So much so that we have incorporated some diversity initiatives here at EBC. Even though we're a small business, we, during these turbulent times, political times, whatever you want to call it, many of my team members at EBC were asking me more about each other's faith, not just mine. But many of our employees are members of a church called Faith Church, which is right next to us at EBC. So what we've done is we now have a room at EBC where if anybody wants to pray, no matter what religion they are, they can pray in this room, they can meditate in this room. So myself being a Muslim, I pray 5 times a day. So I'll be there in my prayer mat. And, in the beginning, some of my coworkers are like, what is Murtaza doing, So I took the opportunity and explained to them that this is our ritual of prayer. We have folks of the Christian faith. So now we have a Bible in our conference room. And we also have folks of the Jewish faith. So we have a Torah as well. So we want this to be a place that all cultures, faiths are welcome over here. The other DEI initiative that we have implemented at EBC is something called the Mompreneurs Group of the Lehigh Valley. And it came about just pre-pandemic when, a mom came to me and said, I'm having a tough time dealing with the corporate life. I'm about to have my second child. Murtaza, you're like a brother to me. What advice can you give me as far as, starting a small business? So I basically, shared my story with her. And the second thing I know, her and her husband decided to launch a digital marketing agency. And from then on, another mother approached me and said, you know what, similar story, saying that, I want to start a business just like yourself. How did you do it? And I shared my story with her. Once these two things happened, I, reflected and said, maybe God is giving me a sign to help these mothers. And I started a group called the Mompreneurs Group of the Lehigh Valley. We have many groups in the Lehigh Valley that support women, that support mothers, but I haven't found one that supports mothers with their own businesses in particular, like a focused group. So now, even if you look on Facebook, Mompreneurs of the Lehigh Valley, I have over 70 moms now in this group. So nothing like a man starting a mom's group. But pre-pandemic, we started speaking engagements similar to like Million Cups, where I would invite a super mom to come and speak to these mothers and share their story, and then also have a discussion that helps these mompreneurs be successful in their respective fields. I dedicated the group to my mom, who pretty much sacrificed her whole life, moving from one country to another. She lived away from my father for 13 years just so that the kids could get educated in the Lehigh Valley. So much respect to our mothers and what they do in general. I'm also proud to be, my one proudest moment of now being an American is that the fact that I'm a kidney donor. So, like I said, I'm from Tanzania, and there are pros and cons. One of the cons about being in a third world country is that there is not good medical treatment or healthcare available. So my father, who was the bread earner back home, he did fall sick with bladder cancer back home. I brought him here again with the help of Allentown Diocese, brought him here for medical treatment and found out that his kidneys were failing. And long story short, I signed up to give him my kidney and gave him a nice Christmas gift in the December of 2013, and it saved his life. So that is my proudest moment of being an American, because if he was back home, he would be long gone. I do have a 7-year-old daughter. He got to see my daughter. So I'm very, very thankful for that. So that's just a little bit of background about me. Now moving on to the business. Both myself and my brother Mustafa, we landed on our corporate jobs after going to school here. Myself, I started off going to Whitehall High School, go Zephyrs, and then I went on to Lehigh Carbon Community College. I now serve on their alumni board, and then I went on to, after finishing 2 years of business associate's degree at Lehigh Carbon Community College, I ended up going to Penn State Lehigh Valley. Upon graduating from Penn State Lehigh Valley, I landed on a corporate job in New York, and landing on this dream job just within the first month, I was missing my family. And my brother, who was back home in Allentown, I came over one weekend and came to visit him. And over a Sunday breakfast, we turned the newspaper and we see this copy center, shipping center going for sale. So we look at each other and said, hey, do you want to go check out this business? I said, sure, why not? So we took off on that Monday. We went to see this business. It was in Trexlertown, and it was called the Postal Annex. Whoever lives in Lower Makunji area might remember, and if you've lived long enough here, might remember the postal annex. Um, and the business was completely run down. You know, there was old equipment. Um, However, we fell in love with the couple who wanted to sell this business. Till today, we call them Uncle Don and Aunt Diane, just the nicest people you could meet. And they said, "Look, our business, we know it's not the best of business, but we're looking to sell it. You know, if you're interested, that would be great." Uh, we didn't have a business plan, anything like that. The entire decision of acquiring the shop was completely emotional. I just wanted to be close to my brother. He wanted to be close to me. We were very tight knit. I actually want to show you a picture of my brother and I when we were kiddos. This is I found this picture actually in this office right now. My manager Andrea Hemphill, who Rita Guthrie knows really well, she's out on a signage install appointment. So I stole her room and I found this picture that she's been hiding. So that's my brother and I when we were kids. But yeah, my brother and I have a close relationship. And from a business standpoint, he handles mainly the operations and management of the business, and I handle mainly the business development aspect of the of our company. Um, so yeah, we ended up buying the business based on an emotional decision, and we said, look, we don't know anything about this trade, we don't know anything about the shipping industry, we don't know anything about the copy business, but what we can do is we can work hard, we can um, learn it, and more importantly, we can listen. We can listen to the community, what the community needs are, and perhaps we can make something good of this business, not only let's say from a financial standpoint, but from living here, coming from a third world country, being here, and actually just trying to do the best we can to be part of the community. These are some of the teachings that we learned from my father. God bless his soul. That, you know, whatever you do, invest in the community. Always invest in the community. So since 2002, we started Express Business Center. We started the Express Business Center is more like a FedEx Kinko's, the UPS store, and the post office all combined in one. So we offer all those business services, and that's how we started the business. We have a copy center, we have a shipping center where we ship UPS, FedEx, DHL, post office. If somebody wants to do a fax or need a passport photo, so that's what Express Business Center is. And as we dwelled into the experience of Express Business Center, we received feedback from our customers saying that, hey, you know, you're doing all my copies. Can you print my brochure for me? And we said, well, we don't have any printing presses or anything like that. But if you're serious, we will invest. So we reached out to our bank. We invested in a 4-color printing press, and we started doing commercial print work. Similarly, one of our clients now, Bear Creek Ski Resort, reached out to us saying that, hey, you guys are now doing all of our print work. We would like for you to look at our signage, because our colors and our branding theme is completely off, being that our signage vendor is out of state. You as our printer are here 15 minutes away, and we are looking for consistency in our colors, in our marketing materials, in our signage, in our buildings. So based on that feedback, we invested in signage equipment. So the business has morphed or grown through listening to our customers, through feedback to our customers, nothing to do with our goals or anything like that. Just the mere fact that we wanted to create a family environment here at EBC. So we now have 3 sections in the business. One is Express Business Center. The other is EBC Printing and Signs. And the third is all the add specialty items, which is promotional products and apparel. All of our manufacturing for printing and signs is done in-house, and that includes all supportive services such as bindery, mailing services. All of that is done in-house. For promotional products and apparel, we work directly with the manufacturer. So we outsource that portion of it. But for all these three sections of our business, we have a traditional approach to provide the service, and we also have an e-commerce setup. So each business has its own website, and we provide that service through digital and traditional methods as well. Finally, and maybe some advice from this group is, what are some of our growth strategies? There are two ways that we can look at growth strategies to the current setup that we have. One is to hire a sales rep for the company. This is a very difficult process, for at least for me, to hire a sales rep, being that we are not a very large business, we're a small business, but at the same time we're looking for somebody that can represent us being out there in the community, similar to the way I have been doing it for the past almost 20 years. I didn't start in my role in business development. My manager, Andrea Hemphill, kind of just fired me from my job. I used to run the machines along with my brother. And one day she said, Murtaza, you need to be out there in the community and represent the company. I said, Andrea, you're crazy. I can't do this. English is not my first language. I wouldn't even know where to start, how to connect with the community. I think you are a better fit. And she pretty much said, this particular Monday you're starting, I'm sorry to say. And Mustafa, he would be managing the management and operations side. So we not only listen to our clients, but we also have formed such a unity within our team members that we take the feedback from our team very seriously. We like I said, we haven't been skilled. We didn't go to school for this particular trade, but we are trying to surround ourselves with very good people who can teach us along the way. So yes, as far as the sales rep, it's one of those things that if I land into someone who can really understand our culture really well, and at the same time we can accommodate them as well and have a mutual benefit, that would be an amazing marriage. So for this group, if you come across a good individual for a sales rep, that would be great. The second growth strategy is from an acquisition standpoint. During the pandemic, we came across an opportunity with a signage company called Commercial Color in the west end of Allentown. They had been running their sign company for over 40 years. And the owner, Paul, reached out to me during the pandemic saying that not only is he struggling with the business, but he actually got diagnosed with cancer and he's not able to perform or conduct the business the best way that he can. And he's looking for two things. One thing is he's looking for a company who can acquire all his signage equipment. And number two, to secure his employee who has been with him for over 20 years in the signage business and has been doing signage installations. We looked at this opportunity, even though during the pandemic, like who wants to invest during the pandemic when things for small businesses are, so tough right now. But nonetheless, the human side kicks in all the time for us. And we took a risk. Tim, who is the signage installer, we just were really impressed with him. So we secured his full-time position here. And it was a service that we weren't able to provide. We could print any sign, whether it was indoor or outdoor, but we couldn't go out there and go and install it at a facility. So this was a nice value-added service that we could provide. And it was a success story. So for this group, if you come across ideas on any kind of company, let's say they want to transition, they've been here long enough and they're looking to sell, or to retire, And it could be a business in, you know, the graphics, any kind of graphics industry, whether it's printing, signs, promotional products, apparel, direct mail is a good example. Please have them reach out to me. I'm also looking to finesse our conference room, which I'm going to be talking to Jeff French about, in how we can, you know, the small conference room that we have, maybe we can make it a little better as far as, you know, holding presentations there now that things are easing up slowly by slowly. So those are the main things that I wanted to talk to you all about today. And finally, I just wanted to take a minute and actually show you the shop. I'm going to take my laptop with me and walk it to not all parts of the building, but just the print shop, just so you can see what it looks like real quick. And maybe some of you have seen printing equipment, signage equipment, maybe some of you haven't, but here we go. This is our print shop. And the print shop is entirely a green print shop. So back in the days, we used to have the Heidelberg presses, and the Heidelberg presses were petroleum based. So they used to, you know, cause a lot of fumes, a lot of petroleum, and which wasn't, you know, good for anybody's health. So when we, especially with my health condition, we said we're gonna go with, you know, green initiatives when we have our print shop. So back here is our sign setup. This is our sign cutter, which cuts all kinds of signs. It's automated. We also have a sign printer. This is a signage printer. We have a 4-color press here. And all kinds
Murtaza, you're fading out with your speaking.
Okay.
So.
All kinds of finishing and mailing equipment right behind me. So that's our setup. I'll go back to my desk and finish the conversation that way. I'd like to thank all of you for, again, giving me this opportunity to speak to you, and many friendships that are here on this call today. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. God bless.
Okay, are you ready for questions, Murtaza?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, we have a couple of questions and a comment, and then people, I'm sure, will start to come in. It's great presentation, and one of the positives is that you have growth strategies and you're open to other things. So that's my comment. But Nicole from Tinkerin asked about your shipping capabilities. Do you ship furniture or larger items?
We do not. So as long as it's within the guidelines of UPS and FedEx, we could put it in a box and ship it. However, if it exceeds those dimensions, let's say from a freight service, we are unable to do that at the moment. I'm glad you mentioned it, because actually freight is one of our feedback that we've received from customers saying that, can you provide freight services? We are unable to do it at this time, but it's something that we're going to be looking into as well.
Okay, this is a comment from Tony. You should advertise for a sales copy or experienced person. She actually sold digital copiers for 8 years and can talk to you on what to look for, as well as the system. So one of the advantages of 1 Million Cups is the network, which, by the way, we'll be doing a networking session from 10 to 10:30. Deb Rice said, your sales brochure is fabulous with so many great ideas. The outdoor signage is not featured in the book. You have a sales piece for the new image, permanent outdoor signage for your business. Do you have that?
Yes, so 2 things. First of all, Tony, thank you. This calls for a lunch. I'm going to treat you out for lunch, and we can talk about what you mentioned. That I think it sounds great. And number 2, Deb Rice, absolutely. So the acquisition from Commercial Color is fairly new, and we are working on marketing materials for signage as well. So thanks for mentioning that.
Well, be sure to share it with all of us, and for all those of us that are connected with you in one way or another, we'll make sure that we see it, make sure you put it on LinkedIn, and we can share it better. Amy Baker said, I work for a DM company in Ohio for a couple years. And they did very well. I'm happy to share with you about the sales process and how they marketed their services if you like. So now you're going to have to take someone else out to lunch, Murtaza.
If I'm not meeting people over coffee or lunch, that's another requirement I have from my manager. So yes, anytime for a meal and break bread with friends and learn more is great. So Amy Baker, thank you so much for your comment as well. Yeah, that's great to learn anything about sales process and how the company marketed their services. I'd love to learn more about that. That would be great.
So Murtaza, you might be able to have a team building event and do an escape room at Amy's location. So
you know it. I was hanging out with Amy Baker at the Young Professionals Cornhole tournament, and she let me try one of her VR, the equipment. It was just amazing. So definitely, it's. I already wrote it down. It'd be nice to do a team building at her facility, which is outstanding. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Okay, so Rita, what are some of your most interesting projects that you've worked on over the years?
So at the moment, we did a coffee table book for Allen, Oregon. We just completed it last week. It's a hard case bound book for Allen, Oregon. And it's just an immaculate, beautiful piece that we printed for them. And we're very proud of that work. I'd love to show it to all of you sometime. By the way, if any of you want to come visit EBC, please, I'd love to give you a tour, learn more about you as well. The other thing is right now with a lot of DEI initiatives, we have been putting up core values in the walls of companies. So any kind of wall mural or wall signage. We just did one for Health Network Laboratories. They have many different, phlebotomy locations in the Lehigh Valley and surrounding areas. So we will do their wall signage. But at their corporate offices, they said that DEI initiatives were important for them, and they're going to mark it in their walls. So all their core values, their mission statements, they wanted to be visible to the entire company. And we were very thankful that we got the opportunity to print and install the wall signage. From a promotional product standpoint, we are, during the pandemic, we were able to imprint on PPE gear, such as masks, and more importantly, with our new signage equipment, we were able to print floor stickers for offices and warehouses. So on a warehouse, we printed on a different material. For, let's say, a carpet in an office, it was a different material. So we were able to print things that said 6 feet distance on the new signage equipment. So these are some of the examples of the work that we're very proud of. And then finally, direct mail pieces. For some reason, during the pandemic, when everybody's trying to connect with everybody, we worked with a credit union in Delaware to print all their postcard mailers and mail them out. And some of it was very sensitive information, but we were very proud of that work. And it still boggles my mind that why would a credit union from Delaware work with a printer in Allentown, Pennsylvania? But again, it's all about the relationship, working hard for the client, and also keeping in touch with them on a consistent basis.
Okay, the next question, and Hector, I'm going to skip over yours and come back to it because it kind of falls in with what the last one Stacy Rowan asked. And in addition to printing business materials, do you print one-off items? For instance, in her case, she wants to print a workbook for a course and spiral bind it. Do you take on jobs like that?
Yes, we do. So Express Business Center is our copy center, and we do that all the time. And you'll find our, not only our customer service, but our pricing structure much more competitive than the big box stores. And I don't want to name their names, but you could do the one-off jobs, no problem. And Dave, during the pandemic, we actually launched an e-commerce website based on feedback from our customers, just on this mere fact that, hey, I'm ordering business cards online. They come out fine the one time, but the second time I order, the colors are all off. So based on some of this feedback, we launched an e-commerce site similar like a Vistaprint for actually geared for small business owners, where it's a touchless process. If they wanted to order business cards online, they can just go onto our website, ebcprinting.com. The pricing is as competitive as like a Vistaprint and similar companies, and they can get it delivered right to their office or any other location. And that applies to any standard business card or wide format, like a signage poster or a banner. They can order it online on our website.
Okay. Instead, anybody that I asked a question that put it in, if I don't hit on everything, just speak up. Now, Hector, and you've kind of touched on this. Hector asked, what range of clients do you typically serve in terms of scope? So obviously you do a lot of small businesses, but you also do work with large companies as well?
Yeah, so my restriction as far as taking in work is not the size of the company, it's more geographical. So I could serve a client who, let's say, just needs a deck of business cards, or let's say, that was a good question, needs just one workbook, all the way to the entire marketing materials of a marketing department, let's say. We could do anything from a fulfillment, storage of their marketing materials, all the way to producing any size of marketing materials. So there's no restriction as to the size of the business, small, medium, large. The restriction is geographical from a shipping standpoint. So while we have that client, for example, from Delaware, if I were to ship, let's say, a box of brochures to that credit union, UPS ground or FedEx ground will get it there the next day. It's not a guaranteed service, but the price point from a shipping standpoint is equivalent if I were to ship that same box to Allentown, Pennsylvania. So when it comes to, let's say, State College, it takes 2 days for UPS and FedEx to get it there, and the shipping price is higher. So sometimes, I don't get clients that are outside that area, and that is okay because of the shipping costs. So that's my only restriction.
Okay.
Good question.
I'll open it up because I think we covered everything. Jeff looks like he has a question, so.
Hey, Murtaza, good to see you again. I was looking forward to your presentation, learning more about you and your businesses there. Thank you so much for that. Our paths have crossed many times over the years at different events and networking, and whether it's job fairs or whether it's other events like that. You're a small business, and I'm sure that it's a strain sometimes from an expense and from a time standpoint. I guess my question is, how do you determine your outreach? What are some of the things that go into where you're going to be, and evaluate if you're going to be going back or anything like that? Because I'm sure that it's a strain sometimes for you and your business in terms of maybe cost and time on your end. What are some of the things that determine where you're going to be, what you're going to do, and what you're going to say?
That's a great question. And first of all, Jeff, you and your wife, God bless you for everything you guys do. You at Northampton Community College, but Jeff's wife, Julie, if it wasn't for her organization, the Allentown Diocese, my entire family wouldn't be in the United States. So thank you so much for what her organization does. As far as finding your limitations on what you can do as from an outreach standpoint, it's a tough one, Jeff. You know, how do you determine how much time you spend, let's say, networking, putting all your energies towards it? But again, the beauty about small business is, you know, there are no limits. You know, we knew going into this business what the pros and cons were, but our goal was one, that we wanted to be with the family. We wanted to be at a job that no matter what time we ended work, that we wanted to see our families together. So while it is not easy, we have created a setup in such a way that community involvement, outreach is very important for us. And that's why, you know, if I'm in the office, Jeff, my team really doesn't want to see me. And a lot of times I think, you know, I know you guys don't want to see me. I'm bald enough. I know I'm not, you know, good looking. You guys don't want to see me, fine. But literally, they literally kick me out, and they say you need to be out there as much as possible. From a digital standpoint, Jeff, the outreach on our e-commerce site is not a relationship based, it's all digital. So we have invested in working with an advertising agency called Clunk and Milan, where they help us advertise on Google, putting really good SEO campaign together, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. So much so that with our new e-commerce website, we will get orders from even outside the area. So New Jersey, New York, just from an example standpoint. So outreach, Jeff, is important, and we keep on learning. It's not something that we have a fine-tuned way of doing it, but we keep at it as best as we can.
Okay, Stacy has her hand up. Go ahead, Stacy.
Hi, Murtaza, how are you? I wanted to make sure I made it today. I haven't been making it every week, but when I saw that you were on the schedule, I wanted to be here and hear your talk. I knew that I wouldn't want to miss it.
Thank you, my friend.
I want to say that the person or the people within your business who are telling you to get out into the world, very smart people, because I think your biggest value to what you're doing there is your heart and your concern for your community. You know, there are people who maybe sell on dollars and cents and everything else, but for you, what I just see is you definitely lead everything from your heart. And there are people who, you know, why would I want to go to a big box place that I'm just a number if I can come to you? And A, I want to support you because we need more people like you in the world. And B, I know you're going to care about my job. So I will be getting in touch with you about that workbook that I've been putting off doing. But I also am going to reach out to you about a couple other things to see if there's anything that I can help you with how I help people, to see if there's any people I can put you in touch with. But mainly, I just wanted to say, you have such an amazing story and such an amazing heart that, to me, all of your success is going to start in that place. So keep doing it. Listen to those employees of yours that say, I'm sure it's not that they don't want to see you,
I know.
but they know your value is out making those connections, because I think your network is going to be what really serves you best.
Thank you, my friend. God bless you for your kind words. And we truly live by that motto of, you know, keeping it local, keeping it with our community, supporting our community. You know, a lot of the tax dollars that we spend locally, let's keep them here so that it benefits our small businesses. I see a lot of times, you know, maybe even from a larger scale point, that, you know, larger companies will use a company out of the area. And it's fine. If we don't have the capability in our area, that's fine. But if we do have a company, even if it's a small business that, you know, let's say can provide that service. For example, I look at Brandon Kelly with his video productions. Ever since I heard his talk on Million Cups, I've just been talking about him to everybody. that, you know, let's say if there's a company out there that could use his services, why not use it locally, you know? Keep it local, keep the tax dollars here. We need more supplier diversity initiatives in the Lehigh Valley. We do have, you know, I feel like we do have a very good, loyal community, but I think we can do much more.
Okay, speaking of Brandon Kelly, he was the next one to raise his hand, and then Girish. Brandon, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for the shout out, Murtaza. And I will be emailing you about, I do need to go to your space to have a meeting and everything and see where everything is. So I'll be heading over soon. You're not far from where I live, so that's good news. But anyway, you know, but I agree with earlier we were talking about going out in the community and everything. One thing I feel that ever since I did the 1 Million Cups presentation is that going to these networking events is definitely very key, because then you get yourself out in the community. People are like, oh, you do this, oh, you do that, you know, whatever the company is doing. And so, and I know with my company, what could benefit your company or any of the companies you deal with, you know, is the video aspect. And part of marketing is not just, you know, going out in the community, it's also video, it's also emailing, phone calling. And there's a lot of companies out here in the Lehigh Valley there, especially during this pandemic, that want to get themselves out there and want to get out and be known. And this is one way to do it, whether it's here 1 Million Cups, or for those who have 10 Friends with Pete, or any of these events. They're very vital. There was someone I know that I think the person started trailing off with the networking events, and I was thinking, no, keep up with them. You got to keep up with them, because if you don't, you know, it's you're gonna start losing those connections after a while. And so definitely recommend being at all these networking events. I saw you at the I think it was last Thursday. I saw you last Thursday, and it was great. So definitely keep up with it.
Yeah, because one of the things, you know, I've learned from leaders like, you know, Rita Guthrie, Paul Williams, I've known him for a long time as well, is, you know, keeping that consistency, you know. So back when Paul was in the direct mail business, we used to do all of our mailings through him. Just an amazing individual. And Rita, I've known her like forever, and God bless her, you know, for, you know, guiding me in every facet and every way. So yeah, we have a wealth of talent and individuals in the Lehigh Valley community. And it's just wonderful to be part of the community.
Okay, Girish has his hand up, and we're going to go for about 5 more minutes and then allow for announcements, and then the networking. Anybody can stay on for that. So Girish.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Murtaza. Thanks for sharing your story today. Very enterprising, and a lot of encouragement and inspiration for all. I have two questions or 2 comments. Either way, you can look at it. You mentioned that geography is one of your, let's say, challenges or things to overcome in terms of cost and freight, etc. That's understandable. How about if we reverse that process and you find a client who is currently dealing with Vistaprint or Deluxe or one of these other printing houses in your geographical area, and you tell Vista that you'll print the material for them and deliver it. You save on cost, Vista saves on cost, and you pick up some business. So that's one way of kind of overcoming that boundary, geographical boundary, and maybe Vista or Deluxe might reciprocate at some time in the future with some client that you have in their area as well. Second question is, what is the vision for EBC printing, let's say 5 years from now? Is it more of organic growth or through acquisition of new services? Keeping in mind that although you want to stay away from the big box stores, there are a lot of lessons to be learned from the big box stores themselves, whether it's Office Depot or which is struggling right now, Staples, and there's one that has closed already or was merged with one of them. I forget what the name was. Any thoughts on that, or how you can address those in your business in the future, because as digitization gets more common,
Yeah.
hard copy paper is going to be less and less, I think.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. The first question, Girish, well, first of all, brilliant. We are open to any kind of collaboration. So whether it's Vistaprint, FedEx, UPS, we are here to listen to any kind of ideas and also listen to our customers. In the beginning, in one of the segments of our business on the shipping side, a lot of our customers said, Murtaza, if you become a FedEx Kinko's, I don't know if I would, support that because I'm a UPS guy. And some of the FedEx, people who went to FedEx Kinko's, they're like, I'm a FedEx guy. So we decided to listen to our customers and stay independent so that when somebody comes to ship a package, they can choose whatever they want. We let the customer decide and we get a commission. So the customer pays what I pay, and it's a win-win for all. But regarding Vistaprint, yes, if today Vistaprint said it like, hey, we want to have a conversation how we can help each other. Some of our customers are here, your customers are here. Can we collaborate? Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be Vistaprint. It could be a small business, a large business. It doesn't matter. So Girish, brilliant, well said. I do want to comment on what Rita said about my jacket and the logo. Our color was just green, but we have added magenta. And the reason for the magenta is to represent the women leaders that we work with at EBC. The green is for showing that we are a certified green printing company. We use soy-based inks, vegetable-based inks to produce all of our work so that it doesn't harm our clients, doesn't harm the environment. But the magenta is for the women leaders who just do incredible work. And they're the queens of multitasking, which no man can do. So God bless them.
Murtaza, tell us can we get a jacket like that with our logo on it? What types of items do you have access to in the clothing lines?
Yes, so great question. We work with most major apparel manufacturers, and we work directly with them to decorate any kind of corporate gear. So whether it's starting from something as entry level as just getting a t-shirt or a jacket and branding your company, we have a website called ebcpromo.com where you can view all the apparel. You can select according to the price point that your company is looking to budget, and then we decorate it for you. But yeah, all the major brands are available, ranging from Nike, Under Armour, all the way to some of the entry level ones like Port Authority, Gildan. So all apparel is available that we can decorate.
And we can see that your whole space is well branded by the colors you use in your decor.
Thank you
The
so
highlight
much.
of the fuchsia color behind you makes the fuchsia on your jacket stand up, and the green on the walls in your print center and in your conference room, also accentuate your brand. So you're very brand consistent. And I know that started with Andrea Hampel. She used to have you wear particular attire, like what ties you wore at some of the business expos you did. And she's very influential that way.
Yeah, if I didn't wear a green tie, me and Mustafa would be in trouble. So lots of strict people here, So.
Okay. Stacy had a suggestion for possible expansion of business to the artist community. You could consider fine art reproductions. I wanted some prints a decade ago, was challenged to find someone. Smo, is that how you pronounce your name? He put some things in about the Lego robotics open house. There's a flyer, there's a link. Rita, I don't want to steal your thunder because you always have announcements, but she talks about, and everybody will get a copy of the video as well as the chat about our next coffee talk, which is June 24th. I think hopefully he answered, do you print t-shirts and other clothing? I think he said he partnered. So correct me if I'm wrong. Brandon will be in, okay, BK Web Apparel. So great.